Morning call, 10th of October 2025. I'm Mark Gardner. Just a reminder, this is general advice only. Make sure you consult a professional before making any investment decisions, especially in this market, I've got to say. Not that they'll be able to help you because, just throw out your economics books, your investing fundamentals books, It feels like we're in bizarro world here at the moment. But gold and silver hit fresh records last night, and then they got absolutely smacked. But silver, albeit not a settlement, got over $50 for the first time in history. Been waiting since just about since I was born, 46 odd years ago. I think it was about 1979, 1980. And then further hit as Trump announced peace in the Middle East and nominated himself for the Nobel Prize, just casually as well. So he also went on a bit of a witch hunt overnight and basically directed the Department of Justice to start indicting all of his enemies within the government and go through all of their dirty laundry, particularly the ones in New York who went at him before he became president for the second time, which they're calling as bad as what Nixon did in Watergate, but he's just doing it on social media publicly. so one commentator said they don't even have to find the tapes. He posted on socials. We're in our 7th or 10th day of government shutdown. The asset, stock markets at record highs, yet the Fed's still talking cuts. The Chair Powell spoke last night, but didn't address interest rates, but the markets just heard rate cut. It was down a little bit overnight, took a little bit of a breather. But yeah, and then interestingly as well, one of the actual, non-bizarre things I saw doing a bit of reading across the last 24 hours is a very reputable Harvard economist has basically said that GDP number that was around that 3.8 mark, nearly all of it was aimed at data center infrastructure and buildings. So I've never seen in my time a quarterly GDP number rise 3.7% effectively on one single thematic spend, but that's the world we live in when the richest companies in the world are effectively bigger than nearly all countries, and they don't pay tax anywhere. So they're all very extraordinarily cashed up. So I'm not going to bore you with my views too much today because I'm finding it incredible. Like everything I've learned in 30 years is just useless right now. I may as well have just started looking at markets because not many of the principles are applying. There was no major news stories out overnight. I do believe that Pepsi had a reasonable result. IMAX had an incredible result, rallied like 67% apparently. And gold spiked higher. Silver, it was around about 11 o'clock in silver last night, and it just rallied from about 4 or 5% in a straight line, and then came back, then retreated back to where it was before. But we've now got the silver monkey off our back, we have for the first time in history got a 5 at the front of that at that price, albeit for about half an hour. Now this is just something worth monitoring, and I did say that I would keep an eye on the credit spreads for you guys. So First Brands, that's a very alarmist headline. It is not a Lehman's moment. So that's just our old friends at Zero Hedge, the single most doomsday website in the world for financial markets. Having a little bit of poetic license, but basically what it shows is how quickly liquidity evaporates in private credit. And my general opinion on private credit is it's mortgage-backed securities just wrapped up in a new wrapper. The only benefit of that is, well, for the system, is that the banks won't own it, even though UBS has got a massive chunk of it. So it just, when they bought Credit Suisse, you probably shouldn't have brought the risk managers with them as well. But they don't necessarily, they're not the center of it. They don't own it. It'll just be private investors that wear the brunt of that. Credit spreads were at their lowest level in history. Basically, 2 or 3 weeks ago, they were down in this level here. So it has spiked in the last 5 days, and equity, that your orange line's equity is coming back down. So not a Lehman's moment, but it's a red flag. We're definitely worth monitoring. Next week's calendar. So the banks started up, and TSMC, and one of our favorites here, Intuitive Surgical. It's in our robotics and automation strategy that's open at the moment. But we've got JP Morgan, Goldman, Citigroup, Bank of America, Morgan Stanley, PNC, and Truist. They're sort of more financial planning and stuff. But TSMC will be a really big one as well. Also in our robotics and automation as that foundry chip maker. ASML, for those of you who watch AusBiz and saw me on the call yesterday, I had a bit of a blunder. I ironically got thrown a bum steer by AI about AI chips, and said that ASML potentially could lose their monopoly in the EUV 2 nanometer market. That was incorrect. So for anyone who I don't, when I bugger things up, I'd rather correct myself than hide, because I don't want people acting on something I've said that's incorrect. But you got a raft of Fed speakers next week. No economic numbers. It's Columbus Day in the States as well. RBA speaks. RBA governor speaks on Thursday. Employment on Thursday as well. But yeah, I mean, pretty cruisy in terms of, for me, that there are no economic numbers coming out, because nothing to watch. So it'll be very much focused on earnings next week, and bring it on. Be interesting to see. It will be the we'll probably see some tariff effects in some of the numbers. I think it'll be a bit more patchy than what it was previously. And my general feel is that in line with that GDP number, the observation the Harvard economist made, that data center and anything to do with data centers and hyperscaling AI will be winners, and everyone else not so much. So but it remains to be seen. The US is always very good at setting earnings expectations just below where they're going to be, so they always beat. Gold, silver down 2%, platinum down 2%. All of them were up. Well, I think gold was only up 1%, but silver and platinum were up like 3 or 4 at one stage last night. So it's a pretty significant move. It quite often does happen. Shorts get squeezed out through a significant record level, or the market goes hunting for those significant levels, and then the sellers or profit takers come in. I've been saying all week, I think there'll be a bit of a breather, and I think it's healthy for the overall move. The fundamentals haven't changed. The only difference is that Jim Cramer managed to get bullish gold. I think precious metals have been Cramered. He's quite incredible sometimes. I think he picked within a day or two what's been the easiest rally in a commodity in history. I think, and the fastest $500 move in gold in history. He's managed to get, despite being historical gold bull, and he has got a few things right this year, Jim, but quite a few actually. But that one is back to reality. So Bitcoin fell away a bit as well. Lithium still kind of rallying, and uranium that just keeps grinding higher and higher. Iron ore was a little bit positive, which should help our miners. That's really about it, guys. So yeah, this will close next Wednesday. AI, automation, and robotics future. Some enhanced growth pairs. You can obviously just email me. We've got a little explainer video. It's about 10 minutes, and you can have a bit of a look. Sophisticated and wholesale investors only. But yeah, if anyone's interested in that, give us a bell. And we've also got, at the moment, I think we've also got some fixed coupon notes, which are pretty similar to hybrids, and around about 13.7% per annum for the next 2 to 3 years as well. If people are income investors, just tap me on the email there. And but guys, yeah, have a great day. Have a great weekend. Make sure you catch up on Bulls versus Bears podcast this evening, myself and Jonathan Takadina. And yeah, we'll speak again